that I bought 4 pounds of hot peppers. I'm going to make jalapeno rings that you see in the jar at Walmart or wherever. And they're pickled, that you put on your nachos and things like that. Dave loves these. I can't eat them, but we're going to make those. I have already cut up, if you see here, this is a little over 8 cups. I've already sliced. I just thought I'd show you a couple. You can see my mess here. It's not a clean thing to do, but you cut the top off, the little stem. Throw it in your little pan there. And then, I don't know measurement wise. That's 2 of them. So, I mean, they're fairly thin. If you eat these, you already know kind of what size they should be. You do not have to cut the seeds out. You're just cutting the stem off and then slicing them. And then I'm putting them into the bowl. And when that's all done, we'll get our brine ready to pour over the top of them. I don't figure you need to watch me slice that many of them, but I thought I'd show you really quick that, you know, that's kind of how thick you want them, and it's up to you, your preference. I'll finish these up and then bring you back when I'm done. Okay, so I have cut the peppers. Let me put this here. They're in a bowl. I actually decided, well, that camera's really close, to use pickling lime. So I had to put this in water, soak the jalapenos in the water for 3 hours or overnight. I went ahead and just did overnight. The instructions are on the bag, so I won't go into those because it depends on how many you have, how much you use. Then you rinse them 3 times, put them back in a bowl of water, and soak them for 3 hours in cold water. So I put them in the fridge. Then I've now drained them. So I'm just going to set them aside. Let them finish draining off their water. In here I have 6 cups of vinegar. I'm going to add 2 1/4 cups of water to that. And then we need 2 1/2 teaspoons of canning salt. Not your table salt, your canning salt. And we're going to bring that to a boil. Once that is to a boil, then we will ladle it over our packed jars. I've got my jars over here warming up so that they'll be warm just like this. Your salt will dissolve into the vinegar and water solution. Now into each jar, we're going to put we are going to put 1 tablespoon of mustard seed into the bottom of each jar we fill. And we will put 1 1/2 teaspoons of celery seed into each jar we fill. And we will put garlic. I do not have fresh garlic, so I am going to be using just minced garlic that's already pre-chopped. You want 1/2 teaspoon of garlic into each jar. So I'm not going to make you stand here and wait until I get this to a boil. I'll bring this to a boil. By then my jars should be warm, and then we will pack the peppers, and I'll show you that when I get there. Whoops, there we go. Alright, we've come to a boil and we're ready to pack the jars. I've got my jars all hot, ready, my lids and rings washed and dried. Maybe if I got that out of the way you could see. Oh, look, I've already almost forgot. Okay, we need 1/2 of a teaspoon, which is 1 clove of garlic, put in the bottom. We need 1 1/2 teaspoons of celery seed. Actually, I think we're just going to use 1 because that is an awful lot. And we're going to use 1/2. That might be a little bit more than 1/2. We're not big fans of it, so I'm thinking that no, that's not really what we want. And we're supposed to use 1 tablespoon of mustard seed. And I believe we're going to use a half. And the only reason is I don't want them to really taste like pickles. So that's why I kind of changed the recipe to go with what we like. And that's what you need to do. Then, I'll get my big arm out of the way. We're just going to pack this. I am still wearing my gloves, just in case. I like to make sure they're kind of packed down in there. And if you've noticed, we've lost quite a bit of the seeds that go in here. You're going to pack up to a 1/2 inch headspace. Still got some room in there. I like a nice full jar. Of course, my arm's in the way. And you can put whatever spices you want in here. You do not have to put mustard or celery seed at all. You can just use vinegar and salt and water. Alright. Now it looks pretty good. It looks like I still have some spaces. If you don't get them full, then they tend to rise to the top. I probably have more of a 1 inch head space, but that's okay. Then we're going to ladle the hot vinegar, water, salt solution into this. Fill to a 1/2 inch headspace. This is supposed to make 6 jars. I might not quite have enough hot peppers for that, so I just mixed it up anyway. And then you want to debubble. Of course, it's breaking some of my rings when I do that. Sometimes that'll make your water go down. That should do it. I've just got a paper towel that's been wet with water. It was hot water, but now it's not anymore. And we're going to put a lid on here. Everybody knows, turn it till it stops, you know, and then finger tight. And there you have it. We will go ahead. Now some people will put these seasonings in their vinegar solution and then take it out before they can it, just to infuse the vinegar with that flavor. You can do it any way you want. This is kind of a personal preference thing and how you kind of want it to taste. I know that we like the garlic, so I definitely put that in. The celery seed, not as much. Like I said, I'm going to cut back to about a 1/2, and then a 1/2 tablespoon, because I'm just not sure we really want the mustard taste in there as much. Well, actually, that's a teaspoon. I don't have a 1/2 tablespoon. We're going to do a teaspoon then. There we go. Okay. I'm going to show you one more jar here. We'll go ahead and pack those. Mostly I just use this to kind of get them to lay down where they belong. These are going to process in a hot water bath canner for 10 minutes. And then you can take them out and they are good to go. People say they last about a year when they're canned. Probably after that they may start to lose some of their flavor. And that's normally why people say canned stuff for a year. I know that we've eaten stuff that's been a couple of years old and it's fine, but that is your own discretion. I'm not a food expert or a canning expert. Remember, the salt is already in the vinegar and water solution. That's why we are not adding salt to the jar. Some people actually add the salt to the jar instead of putting it in their solution. We're going to debubble. Make sure they're packed in there really good. Looks like I can actually pack a couple more once I got the water in there. Okay. And these may rise up from the bottom whenever you can them. And that's okay. They will sink back down normally. Okay. We will put our lids on. And we've got 2 done. I will come back and show you when I have got them all processed and how they look when they come out of the canner. See you in a bit. I know it's a little noisy. I got the dryer and the washer going, but just real quick, wanted to show you. This is the finished product of the jalapenos. You notice how they get a darker color. Dave has already ate 1 jar and started on a 2nd jar before I remembered to video this particular video. But there they are. They turned out excellent. I will definitely do those again. So, happy cooking!